today is another engine assembly build day. I don't know if it's really an engine build, but a reassembly, refresh, something. This engine is a non-VVT SR20DET out of a PS13. We left the head on it because this was supposed to be just like throw a set of bearings in it real quick, but I don't know, things kind of got out of hand. So it has a Cosworth head gasket on it. There was nothing wrong with this engine. This engine was running fine. He just wanted to put a new set of bearings in it and a new oil pump. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the crank mains. Those are the main bearings, rod caps, rod bearings, valve train. That's the new oil pump. I took the housing off the turbo to freshen it up. I got everything, the balancer, pan, bottom pan, top pan, intake manifold, heater hoses, everything's cleaned, and I took the cast apart, painted the cast, got that all trying to look new, took the throttle body apart, put it back together, all the nuts and bolts as usual. This is the little cover for the idle air control valve that I made because we're going to delete that, so just made a little plate for that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is basically, it's a refresh, rebuild. I don't really know exactly what you would call it. I kind of do these from time to time. It's not like this one got a little bit out of hand. Realistically, we should have just rebuilt the engine, but you know, and it'll be fine. Save some time leaving the head on it and the pistons in it. But yeah, that's really it. So today, I would refer this is a guy named Terry's engine, which hopefully, how you doing, Terry? If you see the video, hopefully one day I get to meet you. I'm basically polishing Terry's turd, pretty much is what's going on here. So look, we're gonna get into it. First, what we'll do is we'll get the crank in it, and I'll kind of show you again the way that I do it. Everybody has their own way of sneaking new bearings in a bottom end, but I'll just show you the way that I do it. And yeah, we'll get the crank in it first, and then just keep plugging away at it. I have the bottom set of rod bearings and main bearings in the block, and I have the crank put in. I'll just show you the way that I do it. Is I put the first and the rear rod that way, the two centers that way because it's a flat crank, and then you just kind of like rock it in with everything. And now we'll put all our caps on and get it all tightened up, and that's pretty much it. Just have to be careful. Obviously, none of the bearings move, anything gets out of place. And yeah, we'll get this put together now. bottom ends put together. Basically the crank and the rods are all bolted back up. Next, what we're going to do is put the rear cover on, and then next we're going to put the oil pump back together, lube it up, and then put the oil pump on it with the chain and stuff. And once we get the chain hanging out the top end, we'll flip it over and we'll get the cams in it. We have the front oil pump on it and put the balancer on it. I got the chain cable tied up here so that way it'll hold it. The next thing we'll do is we'll get the cams and we'll put all the lifters and rockers in it, get the cams in it and time it all up. So once we get all that done, then we can close the bottom, close the top, and then after that it's just accessories. Okay, so I got the cams back in it and the timing chain on it. I just want to show you guys real quick. On these SRs, top dead center is the second line in. And then usually on the cams here, you have a dot on your exhaust side and a dot on your intake side. Usually there's also a dot on the crank, the gear for the timing chain. You can line the colored link up with that dot and then the colored link up with this dot and this dot. But a lot of times if the engine's been milled or surfaced, what you would do is you count the teeth. So on the exhaust side, you'd have 9 from where the dot is to the edge of the head right here. And on this side, you'd have 5.5. Loads of times I've actually tied them up without, like, you know, worrying about it, and just line the dots and the links up, and I've never had any issues. Another thing, just to show you, is in here you have like a notched, I call it like a valve lash cap, and you have a flat valve lash cap. Basically, the notched valve lash cap has to go, when you're looking at this side, it would go on the left side, and when you're on this side of the engine, it would go on the left side. That's another thing, just to make sure that you don't mix up. But anyways, now what we'll do is we'll get the strainer on it, oil pan, rocker cover, and then we'll start putting all the accessories on it and just continue to try to get it built. Alright, so we have the engine sealed back up now. Got the rocker cover on it, oil pan. Now it's just a matter of, just need to get the water pump on it, the oil filter housing, thermostat housing. There's a little coolant passes, all the heater hoses, bracket for the engine mount, intake, coil packs, turbo, another engine mount, dipstick, turbo lines, and then you have the power steering bracket and alternator bracket. But yeah, it's coming along. Obviously, all those parts on the table, still have a lot of bolts left, so there's still a bit to do. But yeah, so anyways, it's coming together. It's nice. I love the red rocker cover. It's actually really nice. So anyways, I'll continue putting it together. we're getting there. I have everything on the intake side finished. I put all new, even every hose is replaced, every hose clip. Actually think it came out nice. It's coming together. I still have the turbo to do, which I need to do the turbo. I'll do that next, but really just need to do the turbo, and then we can, yeah, get the gearbox on it and have it ready on the pallet for Terry. So it's coming together nice. The whole plan was obviously to, you know, refresh it and make it look new again. I think we've accomplished that, so I'm happy with it. So we'll get back into more time lapse, which I feel like this video is just becoming like a time lapse. Like the whole video should be named like Time Lapse Terry or something. But yeah, I'll just continue on, and hopefully we can get it done soon. And I just want to see what it looks like when it's all finished and everything is looking new again. So yeah, we'll get back into it. So that's the engine assembled. I think we pretty much, you know, accomplished what we set out to do. Terry basically wanted it to look fresh and brand new, and he wanted a new oil pump, bearings, and yeah, basically just change it from a, you know, it was crusty, it was, you know, it had been in a, I think it's a 92 or a 93 PS, and it had been in the PS since new, so you could imagine everything was weathered, everything was, you know, crusty. So yeah, that's what we did, you know, got it to look new again, which I think, yeah, I don't know, I think it came out well. So next we'll bring it outside and put the clutch on it, and then put the gearbox on it, which also that I you know, I cleaned it and painted it and made it look new again. So yeah, it should be a nice, clean, fresh package to go inside his twin cam. I hope he's happy with it, and yeah, that's pretty much it. One of these days I'll probably do a more detailed you know, build of an SR20DET. I've built a lot of them. It's actually, believe it or not, one of my, it's actually a great engine. SR20, like if you think about it, generally it's very, very easy to make 400 horsepower out of an SR. And theoretically that's 100 horsepower per piston. When you think about that, that's impressive. Obviously it doesn't make the torque and everything that a V8 makes, but you know, still an impressive engine. The only thing about an SR that drives me up the wall is, yeah, it has an exhaust sound that only a mother could love. It's probably the worst sounding engine, I think, in the world. But, well, not in the world, actually. There's nothing worse than a BMW straight pipe, but we won't get into that conversation. But anyways, it's not the worst sounding engine in the world, but not the most nicest. Most nicest. I wonder if that's even like an English vocabulary. Anyways, but yeah, that's it. I'll wheel it outside, take it off the engine stand. Then I need to put the clutch on it, and then put the gearbox on it, strap it to a pallet, and tell Terry that his turd's polished. So Alright, so that concludes polishing Terry's turd. So I guess it's true what they say, you can polish a turd. It came out quite nice, I think. If you look at the gearbox, the engine, actually I think that the heat shield actually made a big difference, because it just kind of covers up the rusty manifold. Polished the rocker cover, so actually came out quite nice. New oil pump bearings. It's completely been disassembled, except for the pistons weren't out of it, and we left the head on it, but got it all back together there. And yeah, I think it looks good. I'm happy with it. Couldn't, you know, we set out to make it look new, and I think we accomplished that. So I hope you liked the content. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, see you next time.